In a post-war world, in the 1940s, America was ready to get back to business. Servicemen were eager to get back to their communities and start families. The economy was yearning for the able-bodied and ingenious to help it grow and build. One man in particular had these characteristics. With little experience managing family, people, or building construction, Alfred Kraemer successfully joined his talents with two brothers to form an intriguing small-town business success story, served his community, helping it move forward in a manner demonstrating extraordinary civic devotion, and raised with his wife a happy, industrious family, including 9 children.
I remember that on weekends, Dad would be the chef. He enjoyed cooking for the family on the indoor barbecue. So on Saturday nights, he would cook steaks, and on Sundays, he would cook chicken on a rotisserie. He'd be seated at the dining room table with the barbecue pit going behind him. There he could be in conversation with individuals or groups of family members that would gather, or just read the paper, all while enjoying a relaxing cup of coffee or a cocktail. My father was a gentleman who worked long hours, but still found time for family, church, and community involvement.
Well, one thing Dad instilled in everyone was fairness and honesty. He showed us the path to follow, and we were nudged back on it if we strayed.
Alfred was my brother, my business partner, and my friend. He was 3 years my senior, and as my older brother, he was always looking out for me. As young kids, we took many jobs together. Mowing lawns, working in grocery stores, cleaning and organizing my uncle's construction yard, and many other jobs, always together. During World War II, Alfred was stationed in Texas, and I was drafted, taking basic training. Al took leave and flew to North Carolina to check on me to see how I was handling it. With this kind of closeness, it was no surprise that when the time came to plot a course in life, that we would do this jointly.
It was the survival and support of his family that drove Alfred to succeed in business. Early on, the brothers with their wives were raising families and struggling when Alfred and Norman, facing debt and possible bankruptcy, reached agreements with their creditors and rededicated themselves to their construction business for the primary purpose of supporting their families.
While neither of us knew anything about construction, we were learning every day. Alfred would visit my job site to see if I was doing things right or needed his consultation, because I was still his younger brother. Our closeness did not exclude normal brotherly arguments, but did enable us to work toward a common goal, creating a construction company that we were both proud of.
In their first years, Kraemer brothers constructed picnic benches, re-roofed a barn of Frank Lloyd Wright's, and built 2 beautiful churches. With 6 employees, the brothers kept their weekly salaries at $50 to accumulate cash for the company. With service to his country in the Army Finance Department under his belt, as well as accounting experience at Uncle Ed Kraemer's company, Alfred found he could apply his knack for numbers and specialize in project cost estimation.
Over the years, Alfred developed a systematic method of material takeoff, and also a method of pricing the labor needed to put these materials in place. Some of these methods are still in use today.
The brothers' reputation for their workmanship and their sense of urgency spread, and they began building hospitals, nursing homes, restaurants, and motels. As the company's estimator, Alfred enjoyed being the low bidder by a small margin and seeing a successful project through to its timely, cost-responsible completion. He had the invaluable sense for what Kraemer Brothers' productivity was and applied that to projects.
And Alfred was really cut out for negotiating projects, and I think it was because of his personality. And he was really good at costs, and he knew construction, and he knew how to build, and he was a good idea person. So he was perfect to work with clients. to mold their projects and get them in the right budgets and bring them to a successful conclusion.
I started working with Kraemer Brothers in 1951. I worked on many of Alfred's projects. Working with Alfred was easy, and we always had a lot of fun. Had fun, work or play.
By the time Alfred retired in 1985, 175 talented employees were helping build between 10 and 15 major projects every year, a far cry from the company's humble beginnings in 1948.
Alfred was always community-minded and served as village president for many years. He had the ability to organize, to accomplish improvements that placed the village of Plain well ahead of neighboring communities.
Dad was always the leader. That came out in everything he did. Not only did he always float to it, people elected him to it. Part of his overall thought pattern was, you only get out of life what you put in it.
Alfred devoted over 25 years to civic duties as an elected official in the village of Plain, overseeing many significant community developments, including the swimming pool, the annexation of residential property, and the construction of a village municipal building. And he was a member of the Knights of Columbus, as well as the charter president of the Plain Lions Club, of which he remained a member until his retirement to Florida in 1985.
Alfred was a very well-liked guy, and he got along well with all of the clients and architects and suppliers and subcontractors, and it was really obvious that everybody liked him. And I think that was another reason that helped him be successful in the business.
In over 20 years working in the office with Alfred, he showed me many things: patience, trust, and the example of a good family man.
I always remember Alfred coming around on Friday nights around 10 to 5 and stopping at every office and telling everybody we put in a full week and it's time to go home. Of course, Alfred always showed up on Saturday mornings to come back to work.
Through his 17 years of retirement, Al continually would ask what projects we were working on, and especially wanted to know what Marty and Kevin were doing. He was very happy to see his two sons follow in his footsteps to continue his legacy.
I worked with Alfred in the office for 7 years before I retired. Not many people get to work that closely with their dad. You could see he was happy with the opportunity to work with his son, and for me, it was an association that I'll always treasure.
Certainly, everything that Kraemer Brothers is today is connected with what Norm and Dad started. The philosophy of the company today is the philosophy envisioned by them. That's pretty awesome if you think about it.
Although the road my brother and I traveled was full of pitfalls, and although we really never knew which one of us was driving, we got to where we wanted to go, to develop a construction company that is very successful, that is respected in the industry, and has built a large delegation of satisfied repeat clients. It went as planned.